Say hello to the Sony ULT Field 5 portable sound system. The ULT stands for Ultimate, and this speaker certainly does feel ultimate with rich bass and clear, loud sound. What's up, s'mores? I'm Shannon Morse, and today I've got a fun Bluetooth speaker that's made its way into my studio, my garage, my living room during a 20-person house party. Happy birthday to me, that was a really fun party. If you are looking for a really nice gift for the music lover in your life, or honestly just to treat yourself, then grab one of these. At time of recording, the MSRP is $349, but you can snag one of these during the holiday season for a huge discount down to $199, which is a steal at that price point. I've also got a coupon code you can use to get additional discounts in the Sony store. Tons of deals are happening this weekend only, so snag them while you can. Use the code SONYHOLIDAY25 for even more stackable discounts. That's SONYHOLIDAY25, and it does work on this speaker even though the speaker is already discounted. Huge savings across the board, totally worth looking into. Now, before we get into all the extra tricks and tech that Sony stuffed into this loaf-of-bread-shaped chunk, let's start with the design. It's like slightly bigger than my kitten right now, so I'm petting it as if it's a cat. Don't mind me. That's how I act. That's how I interact with tech.
That's me now!
So you wrap this thing in a super durable woven fabric, you slap that reflective Sony logo on the front, and then you add two passive, massive radiators on each side, and then you outline those radiators with RGB lighting, because why not? That is the ULT Field 5. It comes in off-white as well as black, and honestly, both of those designs look sleek and really modern. Woven fabric looks premium, and the rubber feet on the bottom keep it from skating across your counter whenever bass really hits in the music. On top of this device, there are a few different buttons, and every single button on here is rubberized except for that special fancy button in the corner called the ULT button, which is reflective, making it very easy to find in darker environments, and it also glows a bunch of different colors. And then we have one of my favorite things. Sony actually hid two strap attachment points under little pop-open doors on the top of it. The included shoulder strap is actually really useful, it's very convenient, it's also really comfortable and soft, it's very easy to move around, freeing up your hands for other things. Now real quick, if you're finding this video helpful, a subscribe would mean so much to me. While Sony sent over this product for the review, which thank you so much Sony, it is not a sponsored review, and Sony has no editorial control over the content of my review. So subscribing is a very simple way of supporting us smaller tech YouTube creators, and it helps bring more reviews to the channel. Also, a big Patreon shout out to my s'mores. You can join them and support my channel by going over to patreon.com/Shannon Morse. I have perks over there like early video access and my private Discord as well. As usual, all the videos on my channel are free to watch, and I thank my YouTube members and my patrons for making that possible. Now I want to pick this up and show you the back of it. On the back, you have this watertight compartment with this rubberized door, and that hides your USB-C port, your 3.5mm audio input, and your LED light control button. There's also a battery button that will yell your charge level at you. So if I click that right now,
battery about 40%.
So it's about 40% right now. With everything closed up, this thing is IP67 rated. Now I will add, and this is going to be a very, very specific critique that only a few people are going to get with, but I will add that this is a rather thick rubber compartment lid, and it can be kind of hard to open if you have longer nails. So be careful with that. If you've got a manicure, you don't want to break a nail when you're trying to get that lid open, that compartment, because it can get settled in there pretty tough, and you do have to use quite a bit of strength to actually open it. Now, I want to talk about that ULT button up at the top, the one that you see glowing up here. Sony actually made this speaker specifically for people who believe that bass is like a personality trait.
That's me now!
There are a couple of different ULT modes that you can choose from. ULT 1 is a deep bass mode. ULT 2 adds power and punch across the mids and the low end as well. And when you tap the ULT button, button more than once, it is going to quickly switch between those different modes. You will notice there's a very loud notification chime whenever you change the ULT setting, and this can actually be disabled in the settings via the companion app under device settings. Now, speaking of the Sound Connect app, I also messed around with the custom EQ presets, and while it's really fun to tinker, nothing you create really competes with the built-in ULT modes. Audio-wise though, here's the vibe. So high bass gets a really big boost. Music like Daft Punk, old school hip hop, house, and electronica sound strong, deep, but they still offer really clear frequencies without sounding muddy. Treble is very bright without getting harsh, so listening to things like Taylor Swift or K-pop Demon Hunters, that soundtrack, it's a great soundtrack if you haven't heard it, and it sounds totally amazing on this speaker. Mids dip a little bit, especially vocals, though listening to something like The Crack, which is this folksy rock band that plays Renaissance festivals across the US, I love them, they're so great. They sound epic. Night Spins is a band that my cousin has out of New York, out of Brooklyn. Also sounds really incredible on here, especially those clear vocals when you get them in those mids. And you can also hear things like the guitar strums and things of that nature, so it really brings out a lot of clarity with this speaker. But keep in mind, you're also not going to get subwoofer level rumbles, but the thump is real.
Come on, let me in now. Guess I lost my keys to getting on.
Sony just helped me set up my dream home entertainment theater. Even though I have an open concept, kind of weirdly shaped living room with tons of sunlight, I miss the Ren Fair. And I will say, this thing gets very loud, but unlike some speakers I have tried, it doesn't sound all like glitchy at higher volume levels. So you still get a lot of clarity, even if you have this thing outside and you're listening to it during like a big barbecue or something. Yes, there is some bass compression at max volume, but honestly, by that point, your ears are already gonna have like a spiritual experience. So if you're in an enclosed environment, please consider ear protection. Only listen to this thing on max settings if you're like outside, because it gets very loud. Now a bonus, even though it is portable, this is definitely a true stereo speaker. Battery life also totally depends on your vibes. If you're blasting bass with the lights flashing, it's gonna drain faster. Sony also says that you can get 25 hours with the lights off, or about 10 hours with the lights. I also noticed that it will turn off automatically if you forget to turn it off manually, which I always do, so I'm very glad that it turns off automatically. There's also a couple of other battery options. You can turn on a stamina mode, and this thing can go over 68 hours. So stamina mode turns off the ULT modes, the EQ, DJ effects through the app, and lighting effects. But if you're camping or you want to go on a weekend trip and you want to use this all weekend for that, this is going to be perfect. It does come with a USB-C cable, and a 10-minute quick charge is going to give you about 100 minutes of playback at moderate volume. And you can also charge your phone off of the speaker with the USB-C out port. It's fast. It's actually fast enough to charge your phone out of the back port, because sometimes your Bluetooth speaker becomes your emergency power bank too. So I kind of love that additional feature. It's not necessarily something that they're like super advertising on, but it was something that I was able to figure out, and I was like, oh, I like that. That's really cool. Now, I did connect this to the Sony Sound Connect app, which you don't necessarily have to use for day-to-day usage, but if you want to customize things like the lights, you definitely do want to use the Connect app. And it is very, very much featured. For example, you get a 10-band custom EQ, you get the ULT mode switching, which you can do in the app or through the button. You get light controls and customizations, DJ sound effects. There's this room tuning optimization that you can use. There's Party Connect for linking up to 100 different speakers, which I don't have 100 speakers to test that with, but it sounds really cool. There's also stereo pairing with another Field 5 and battery care for extended battery lifespan. Now, Bluetooth is rock solid with version 5.3. You got really good range and the ability to pair 2 devices at once. It also supports LDAC if you care about higher resolution audio and you don't mind staying within a closer range. There's only one downgrade over the older SRS XG300. There's no built-in microphone for voice assistant usage. Now, this one is definitely not going to be a smart speaker. It's purely going to be your party speaker. But for us security and privacy folks, I feel like that's actually not a downgrade for us. If anything, that's more of a selling feature for me. Food for thought. Now, personally, I totally love the lighting customizations, but I wish that I had more options. Like, I wish there were dimmer and brightness levels and more thematic settings that I could save for different vibes. Like, if I'm having a party with a bunch of friends, I want a different lighting vibe than if I want to use this in my bathroom while I'm like having a treat yourself spa day and I'm taking a bath. So it's going to be 2 different aesthetics, and I want to light it differently, and I would love to be able to save those as different themes. Now, I ended up not using the DJ feature at all after doing my relevant testing procedures to actually test out the DJ features. I prefer just listening to clear and bassy music, not adding more sounds. But if you are a DJ or if you enjoy having that customization, if you want to add sounds to the music you're listening to, then the DJ options are there for you. So if you love bassy music, if you want a speaker that is really easy to bring to parties, it has a loud enough sound for things like barbecues, a house party, or if you just want to use it in your garage while your husband is working on restoring his classic Mustang. Whatever the case is, this works in all of those different areas. I love the battery life. I think it's epic. I think it has great durability for outdoors life. It's wonderful. And at this price bracket, especially with current deals, I think the Sony ULT Field 5 totally shines. But I would love to know what you think as well. So comment down below, subscribe for more reviews, and let me know if this is a speaker that you would consider purchasing. And if you do have one, what has your experience been like? I'll see you next time. Bye, y'all.